Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It is Ben Weather and today we're going to be covering the thunderstorm forecast for the next 5 days and see if there are any big thunderstorms in store. Well, we'll find out in this video. Hope you're all having a great week and yeah, let's jump into it. So, as always, like to look at the surface pressure charts and you can see generally an area of pretty slack area of low pressure to start today. Cold front lingering across the south, few fronts rotating about the centre over northern Scotland, but it looks like through today that low does deepen and slowly then begins to drift off into across the Northern Isles with a few troughs and fronts lingering across England and Wales. Through tomorrow, that low still generally in charge, and by this point we're in a sort of a northwesterly wind, so there's several troughs moving within the flow across the UK through tomorrow and Thursday. By Friday, we do have a transient ridge of high pressure building in across parts of the south and the southeast, with low pressure becoming confined then to the west. So still expecting some unsettled conditions across parts of Ireland and West Scotland. And then beyond Friday and into the weekend, the high begins to drift east. The low pressure becomes more in charge and centred over the UK again, and driving further troughs and fronts across the UK. So that would suggest that there will be some showers and potentially thunderstorms for parts of the UK through the next sort of 5 days or so. And what we're going to do, we're just going to go and have a look at the we're just primarily going to focus on the UKV for this video, just to give an example. So on the left I've got the Cape, the instability, shows the amount of energy in the atmosphere, and on the right we've got the precipitation. So if we run through today, with low pressure in charge, plenty of moisture, with that surface heat and breaks in the cloud, you would expect some instability to build. So by late afternoon you can see plenty of instability actually across Scotland, northwest England into Wales and parts of southwest England, and you can see this definitely setting off a number of showers and thunderstorms. In places we're looking at maybe 800 to 1000 joules per kilogram of Cape, so they will, particularly for some more organised storms, there will be a few lightning strikes for sure, but I wouldn't expect anything too active. And then if we just go and have a look at the deep layer shear, which gives us an idea of how organised these storms might be if there's sufficient instability, and you can see actually the further southeast you go, there is some pretty strong wind shear, and actually this peak in early afternoon. So I wouldn't be surprised across the Midlands into northwest England, Lincolnshire, parts of Yorkshire potentially. If we do get some relatively discrete storm development, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some reasonably organised storms actually for a time during the afternoon. And actually, if we have a look at the wind direction, there is a little bit of a convergence zone that sets up across that sort of the Manchester region. So I wouldn't rule out an isolated supercell actually. If we go and have a look at the if we go and get a SKU-T for that sort of region, so if we just take up a point here, you can see actually that so very moist atmosphere, reasonable Cape, though cloud tops aren't particularly high. We've got 56 knots of cloud layer shear, so that is indicative of some pretty strong wind shear. Now the winds generally aren't veering in height, so that would suggest that the risk of a supercell is low. But given actually we got numerous convergence zones setting up across the Midlands, if we can get some slight veering of winds in the low levels, I couldn't rule out the risk of an isolated supercell. But generally, storms, yeah, they're going to be, they won't be particularly organised. But if you do get an organised storm, you may very well get some strong winds, possibly a few reasonably sized hailstones as well. But yeah, that's ready for Tuesday, and then through the evening as the heating dies down, the showers fade away, and then for Wednesday, low pressure beginning to move away. Then, so we've only got pockets of instability across parts of sort of southern Ireland, northeast Scotland as well, and a few isolated pockets of instability across England. So generally tomorrow the showers not anywhere near as potent as today, but particularly across Southern Ireland and North East Scotland, there is some wind shear available. So there will be some. If the storms can tap into this wind shear, they will be reasonably potent. There will be some lightning strikes, etc., but nothing, as I said, too potent tomorrow. If we carry on into Thursday, that low pressure does continue to move away, so the risk of showers definitely dying down through Thursday. Although northeast England into northeast England, southeast Scotland, East Scotland, there is a little bit of instability lying there, so definitely some showers, a few sporadic strikes probably. I'm not entirely sure if there's any significant wind shear available tomorrow. There is a little bit, so some low level shear as well. I wonder if we can grab a scooty actually for Eastern Scotland on Thursday. That could be a interesting look. So the GFS really not going for much instability at all, so I wouldn't really be expecting any more than sporadic strikes, but yeah, not a particularly favourable profile. So yeah, I think Thursday generally is going to be pretty quiet, although the isolated strike or two across Eastern Scotland. And then through Friday, this is when we're talking about that low pressure coming back in charge, and you can see this instability being driven up from the south. So I think by Friday afternoon, not looking too much. There are a few showers potentially forming across parts of Ireland. Further south, we've got a area of reasonably high instability actually pushing up from the south. Now, if we have a look at theta E, yeah, so this would be suggestive of a few elevated thunderstorms actually across. It does look quite a complex feature, and obviously by this point, we are a few days out, so there is going to be considerable uncertainty, but there is definitely some indication of some elevated thunderstorms, but probably within a larger area thundery rain. Some quite strong wind shear as well actually, so definitely have to keep an eye on that for Friday, late on Friday, particularly across the south. But that is definitely something we'll keep an eye on. And then actually as we go through Saturday, that moves northwards, potentially a few thundery elements embedded within that. And then through Saturday, with low pressure in charge, we've got some very large instability actually building across Ireland, southern Scotland, western England. So yeah, more thundery rain possible across Wales and the southwest England. For Ireland, potentially a few more organised storms. I would imagine wind shear not particularly sufficient, but Northern Ireland may see one or two more organised storms. But yeah, regardless, definitely the risk of a few thunderstorms there on Saturday. The confidence is quite low, and if confidence is high enough, me and Met Forecast may very well issue a thunderstorm risk for Friday, Saturday. And then yeah, as we head through the weekend, by this point the UKV not going out as far. Low pressure remains across the UK. Temperatures still in the low 20s for most parts, so diurnal heating will definitely raise the instability, set off a few showers and thunderstorms through the weekend. But yeah, for the most part, today potentially some storms, possibly a few organised storms across Midlands, Northwest England, Lincolnshire, Yorkshire, that sort of region. Isolated risk of a supercell, but I think that risk is very low at the moment. The risk reducing then through Wednesday and Thursday is low pressure moves away, conditions turn a bit quieter. And then Friday we've got that low moving back in from the west, drawing up some warmer air from the south. And as that warm air draws up from the south, there's always the risk of some showers or thunderstorms. And that low pressure then nearby or over the UK actually for the rest of the weekend, with showers and thunderstorms available there. Given some reasonable instability, and normally when you've got that that wind coming up from the south, you can get some considerable wind shear. So a few organised storms definitely possible this weekend. And as always, if there is any interest in storms, then if the setup is looking promising, then we will definitely produce a more detailed thunderstorm forecast for you when it comes to the time. So that is all for this video. I hope you have enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all on my next video.